All right, so this is my entire manifesto on how to become an attractive male. I genuinely believe that a lot of pickup material out there isn't necessarily needed. Sure, you can go step by step by step, and I'm gonna teach you a lot of the steps once we get to the natural system, okay? But the deep root of that is being an attractive guy. Because once you're operating from the frame of an attractive guy, everything you do is gonna be what? Attractive, right? So this is what like a natural is. You're just an attractive guy, okay? You don't have to worry or think about the steps that you're taking. You're just doing because that's who you are. So, first, you need what I call the roots of a strong tree. So when you think of a really, really big tree, you're not seeing how far the roots are actually going. Okay, those roots are probably longer than the fucking tree. Okay, and they're extremely strong. That's why the tree can stand very tall. If the tree doesn't have those roots in place, what's going to happen to it after a while?
It's going to fall over.
It's going to tip. It's going to fall over. So as a man, you need to have those roots in place. If you don't have those roots in place, no matter what technique you do, no matter what step you take, no matter what seduction technique that you learn, it's never going to fucking work because you, as a man, aren't attractive. Okay? So the first thing, this I kind of covered. You know, when I met my buddy, he told me, my natural buddy, he told me she never wants to fuck a loser, she wants to fuck a winner. And that always stuck with me. So the first thing is you have to become a winner. Now, what does a winner have? Someone who wins in life. You guys are probably not going to guess this, but let's just do it for the fun.
Perseverance.
These are all good, yeah.
They think they've already won. Or they have just that ultimate self-belief in themselves.
That's good, no.
Ambition, persistence.
That's good. Think very basic.
They're happy.
Good attitude.
Yeah. Good vibes.
Do
They show up.
Huh?
They show up.
Closer, warmer.
They do stuff. They just generally
Closer, warmer.
action takers.
It's very vague. That's good.
They're a winner no matter what.
That's good. That's also very vague. It's very very basic. I'll take one more guess.
They don't play by society's rules.
That's good. I love it. So, what it comes down to is someone who's winning in life has responsibilities. Responsibilities. The basic of a winner, you can't be winning by living on the street. They have responsibility. That's why I said it was warm when he said they show up. They have shit to do. So, when I lived, I don't know, about 3 hours up north, or no, about like 2 hours up north, and I was living in my parents' basement, do you think it was harder for me to get girls or easier?
Harder.
Harder. And not because I was living in I still got a lot of girls, but it wasn't because I was living in my parents' basement that made it harder, because I had total freedom there. It was the fact that I didn't have my own personal responsibilities, things that I needed to do for myself. And this is the first time that I realized this is so fucking important, was once my business started taking off and I traveled all over Europe and I did like a Europe tour doing boot camps, and I was coaching clients and stuff. For the first time, even though I had more stuff to do, I felt more free than I've ever been as a man. And the reason why was because I was self-reliant. I was doing stuff because of me. I was doing stuff for myself, my vision, what I wanted to achieve in life. So I felt the most free that I've ever been in my life. And that all comes from having responsibility, shit that you're actually taking care of. When you're taking care of shit, like I have people who ask me questions like, this girl said this on text and I don't know what to say now, and then da-da-da-da. It's like, dude, I don't even have fucking time to text girls, son. I hate texting girls, matter of fact. I don't have time for that shit. The reason why is because I got shit to take care of. And what do you think the girl wants to fuck? The guy who is doing nothing with his life, has no responsibilities, has everything taken care of for him, no ambition, no purpose, no vision, or the guy who's actually going somewhere in his life? The guy who can't even text her back because he's so fucking busy with his shit. Who does she want?
The busy guy.
Busy guy.
Yeah. So the first step, the first route is to get your responsibilities in place and become self-reliant. That's extremely, extremely important. Become self-reliant. Does that mean you have to be rich? No, I'm not fucking rich. I'm not like balling out and I don't have like millions of dollars or some shit. But everything that I do comes from a place of becoming self-reliant, doing shit for myself. Does that mean that I always have people doing, that I'm always doing shit for myself? No, he's here helping me today, filming me, right? I've had him before who's assisted me before in the past. I've had a team and all this different shit, but it all came from a place of doing things that I had to be responsible for, okay? So far, so good? Okay, cool. Second thing, very fucking important. Integrity. Standards. Yo, can you get me some water, please? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Having integrity. So who wants to guess what having integrity means? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Like similar to what you said about standards, like you tolerate things, what you won't tolerate, what you stand for, what you won't stand for, sense of right and wrong.
Sense of right and wrong, not only for other people, but for yourself, right?
Having sort of like a personal code of ethics and abiding by them as stringently as possible.
Yes, very good.
Keeping your word.
Keeping your word. Good. You got one more?
No, I guess my explanation was more in the broader sense.
Yeah. Okay, cool. To me, what I found out what integrity really means is I did this leadership training event in Philadelphia. It was called Next Level Trainings. If you guys want to do it, I'll, what was the site? nextleveltrainings.com, I think is the site. I'm going to write it down later. But it was the most emotionally intense experience of my life that I've ever had. Because it made me look very deep down in myself and figure out what I'd been missing in my life that led to unfulfillment, unhappiness, me always thinking that there's a piece missing of me and all these different things. And I remember doing this exercise. It was a visualization exercise that they do, like some NLP stuff, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And in my mind, they said, imagine an angel coming down, and this angel is giving you a word. Okay, what does that word say? And I specifically remember, like I can visualize it right now exactly how the paper was and all that shit. And the word was self-respect. And this had a lot of emotional meaning to it, because when you are doing something that you, and another thing that one of my friends told me, I don't know, who knows Valentino Cohen here? So he says always, you're either living a 1 out of 10 or you're living a 10 out of 10. There's no fucking in between. There's no 8, there's no 7, there's no 6, there's no 5. You're either living a 1 or you're living a 10. And the reason why self-respect had so much meaning for me was because every time you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're disrespecting yourself because you hold yourself to this higher standard of who you want to be, who you want to be around, what you want to accomplish, what values you have as a man, but all your actions are pushing that away. So what does that subconsciously tell yourself?
You can't do what you want to do.
You can't do what you want to do.
You're not confident in yourself.
You're not confident in yourself.
You don't deserve it.
You don't deserve it. That's the main one. That you don't deserve it. So let's tie this back. I don't want to get to like self-improvement and all that stuff, but let's tie this back to speaking to girls. What do you think, how do you think it's going to affect you when you're going up to a girl and all your life you've been doing all this shit that's coming from a frame of I don't deserve it?
You're gonna feel like you don't deserve her.
You're going to feel like you don't deserve her. You're going to feel not enough. Because everything that you've done in the past of your life, you've subconsciously told yourself, I don't deserve this. Every time you've told yourself, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and not hit the snooze button. And you've hit the snooze button. You've told yourself that subconsciously that you would rather have 10 minutes or 15 minutes of sleep than to live the dreams that you set out, or to become the man that you want to become. Do you see how all this stuff affects you? So having integrity is one of the most highly held things. Now, one thing that I personally have to work on is being punctual. Like sometimes I say I'll be there at 5 or 6 or 7, and I end up being there late, right? And this is a problem that we all have. And I remember at the next level trainings that I did, I went there late one morning, and he looked at me and he's like, so you're late. Now, is this a pattern or is this a one-time occurrence? And I was like, and then he's like, okay, it's a pattern. The reason why he knew is because I was trying to find ways to rationalize it in my mind and be like, no, it's not a pattern. This is like, da-da-da. But when it comes down to it, one thing that he told me, his name is Chris Lee. He said, every time we try to rationalize why we didn't do something or why we did do something, all we're trying to do is decrease the pain of having to own up to not being in alignment with our integrity. All we're trying to do is decrease the pain of having to own up to not being in alignment with our integrity. And that stuck with me really fucking deep. So again, going back to she wants to fuck a winner, she doesn't want to fuck the guy who can't keep his word, who everything he says in his life, he's subconsciously told himself that he doesn't deserve it, or that he can't do it, or that he would rather do this instead of that. Every time you're like, you know what, I'm going to get some work done, and your friend calls you and you're like, well, I could take 2 hours off. All you're telling yourself is, I'm not important, I don't have respect for myself, and I would rather put other things or other people ahead of me. And again, when you go up to that girl and you're coming from that frame, she's not going to be attracted to it. So integrity is held very, very fucking highly for me. If I can get like one thing out of this entire thing for you guys, it would be this. Hold yourself high in terms of integrity. Okay, so let's go on to the third one. And I'll actually draw something for you guys here. So the third thing is, as a man, you need to always be turning fear into adventure. You need to be turning fear into adventure. Now, that's a poorly sized circle, but let's say this is you at the center, and this is your comfort zone, okay? And everything outside of here right? So this is like who you want to be as a man. You want to be able to approach girls effortlessly. You want to be able to attract them. You want to have amazing sex life. You want to bang the tens. You want to achieve financial success. You want to do all that stuff. Everything that's here is outside of your comfort zone. There's nothing in there that's going to be comfortable for you. Not one single thing. Now the funny thing is, when you step outside of your comfort zone and you get used to this now becomes your comfort zone. All the things that you were afraid of before has now become something that is comfortable. And you're going to have to go through this a lot as a man. Wednesday night I went out for the first time in God knows how long. Because when I came back from LA after doing boot camps, I was like, I'm going to take some rest. I'm going to just chill. I'm going to reconnect with my family, all those other good things. So Wednesday night I went out, and I'd literally forgotten how to game. I was like, I don't know how to do it. This is so weird. And I felt so much fucking fear for some reason, even though I speak about all this stuff. I'm like, there's nothing that you need to fear. You're good enough. I had all those beliefs, but I hadn't been out in so long that the environment was completely new to me again. And I remember I was standing by the bar just having like a vodka cranberry, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta fucking talk to girls. And like some homie came up to me who knew me, and I'm like nervous and shit. I'm like jittery. And I'm like, oh my God, even more pressure now. And this like really chubby chick was like beside me, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta start somewhere. And I started talking to her, and like she was from London. We had a cool conversation. And then after that, what came was a surge of like positive emotions. Because that was right here. And as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, I've fucking done this before. And then everything afterwards, I started approaching. Me and Vadim were like trying to pull these two girls. And it was easy again. Because that fear that I had, I was like, all right, I gotta do this. This is gonna be adventurous. It's gonna be something that I've never had before. And then now you're in your comfort zone. So every time you have a new comfort zone, you build another fear of uncomfort, and you gotta constantly step out of it. And every time you do, you expand your comfort. And as a man, every single time you do this, you're growing, you're expanding. Things that you feared before in the past are no longer anything that you fear, and you become a completely new person. If I hadn't took on this journey of actually going up to girls, talking to them, all this different stuff, I would have still been the same exact guy, playing 12 hours a day of video games, jacking off twice a day, to porn, being obese, being downright sad all the time, victimizing myself, all these different stuff. If I didn't take that one single action of just going up to the girl and talking to her. Now, who here follows H3H3? H3H3 Productions?
I'm not following, but I'm watching it.
You've watched his videos?
Yeah.
Cool.
Here and there.
So I really love him. He's fucking hilarious to me. But he recently had a video where he's talking about how him and Ela, which is like his wife, for anyone who doesn't know H3H3, you should actually watch the video. It's pretty inspiring. But how him and his wife Ela met up. And he's explaining the story of how when he was back in the US, he was very fucking sad. He had crippling social anxiety. He was depressed. He was taking ADHD pills and all this different stuff. And who knows what birthright here is? I think it's for Jewish people, right? You guys get to like travel to Israel and get to like learn all this stuff. Cool. So birthright, I don't know if you guys want to explain it. Do you guys want to explain it?
Sure. I'll
Sure.
go for it. So like basically, if you're Jewish, then like the Israeli government pays for you to go to Israel, and you get to like, learn about Jewish culture, and
Visit Jerusalem would be a big one.
yeah, visit Jerusalem, spot like stay in a kibbutz.
Basic experience the more cultural side of the Jewish religion, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's a free trip, the way that most people see it. And so he had this opportunity to go on this free trip. And even though every cell in his body was saying, don't fucking do it, it's gonna be a horrible time, you're not gonna connect with anyone, he's like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, I have to do this. So he ends up going on the trip. Now on the other side of the world, there's a girl named Ela. And Ela was in the army. And at the same time, she also had this opportunity to go on this trip as well. So she ended up going on the trip. And these two people ended up being in the same museum at the same exact time. And again, he was faced with the situation of, I like this girl, should I talk to her or not? And something inside of him said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, I have to do this. He ended up going up to her, talking to her, saying some stupid shit. And ever since then, they've gotten married. Now, what are the chances? First of all, the chances of you being alive is extremely, extremely low. There had to be millions of years of succession, and also you had to be the winning sperm out of like 1,000,000+ sperms. So the chance of you being alive is extremely small. Now, the chances of two people going on the same trip, being in the same place at the exact same time in the right moment, and then meeting each other and creating a future with each other is slim to none. So whenever I'm like here and I see that girl outside of my comfort zone, I'm like, shit, should I talk to her? I'm reminded of this. That this could go somewhere. That even though the chances are so against me, I could create this amazing opportunity for myself where I can grow, I can expand my comfort zone, and I can create amazing experiences, adventures with this girl, have amazing sex with her, and all this other cool shit. Even though the chances were so fucking low. And most people don't see it. They don't view it like this, okay? All right, so on to the next thing. I feel like I should just skip this. That kind of explains it for itself. But no, purpose is very, very important. As a man, because I mean, we all have testosterone, and in our biology, we are always pushed to achieve things. Okay? We're always pushed to achieve things, achieve more, and achieve greatness. And so when a man does not have a purpose in his life, isn't doing what he actually wants in his life, or is actually not trying to move towards that, then he's going to feel emotionally dead, socially dead, spiritually dead. Everything about you is just going to be inside, is going to be dead. And there's a good quote that I really love by Grant Cardone. He says, most people die at the age of 25, but wait until 70 to make it official. And so when I had the decision of working for the shitty Rogers job and getting a higher position versus going into the unknown, the uncertain, and becoming a fucking dating instructor teaching guys how to get laid, one was a definite like 80 grand, 90 grand a month. The other one was complete uncertainty, and I could end up totally fucking broke and on the side of the street. The only thing that I was reminded of is, what's my purpose? What's the dent I want to create in this world? A huge, the epitome of a man who's following his purpose, I really look up to is Elon Musk. This man had PayPal. He started PayPal out of fucking nothing, made it into a multi-million-dollar company, made millions from it, and bought his stake out of the company. At that moment, he could have just literally chilled for the rest of his life, put his feet up on a beach in Fiji or something, and he could have just lived it up. What did he do? Does anyone know the story?
Yeah.
What did he do after that?
He invested and he started these companies from scratch in probably some of the most riskiest areas you can imagine, which literally have no payout. He's losing money on those companies, but in order to be somebody who's going to change the course of history in the future, that's what he has to do now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He invested every single penny plus more. He had to get to a point where he had to borrow $1,000 from his friend. Going from a multimillionaire to borrowing $1,000 from his friend to start a company that he did not know whether it was going to work or not. He was eating fucking hot dogs every day because they were cheap. But now, what is he as a man? He's a multi-billionaire. He's changing the world single-handedly. And that all came from following that inner intuition that said, I need to do this because I know it's going to go somewhere, because I know it's going to create a change for me or the people around me or the world around me in a better, positive way. There's a good book called Living a Life That Matters by Harold S. Kushner. And he talks about how, as a man, the only job that you have as a man is that when you die, you've created something positive. You've left the world with something positive. Now, I mean, that's relative. You can be like, oh, I made someone smile. That's positive. And yeah, that's true. But why not go for more? Why not go for as much positive impact as you can possibly make before you leave? So purpose is very important as a man. You need to have a certain purpose, whether that's becoming a garbage truck man, whether that's becoming a multi-billionaire, whatever the fuck it is, you need to have a purpose that's driving you towards a certain place in life, towards a certain impact that you're going to make. Okay? I could see some yawns. We're almost done. We're going to take a break after this. Get up and chill, okay? So, the next thing after this being non-reactive. To be an attractive man, you need to be non-reactive. Now, does non-reaction mean you don't smile and you're just like this all the time? No, of course not. But what non-reaction really means is to be an acceptance of everything that's happening around you, especially when you're following your purpose. There's going to go, everything that could possibly go wrong will go wrong. Everything that could possibly go wrong will go wrong. In your life as a man, everything, you're going to get to a point where, as we are all going to get to a point where our parents are going to die, or someone really close to us are going to die. It's going to be complete fucking chaos. And as a man, you have to accept every situation that's thrown at you. Every time you react, you're falling off that balance of your masculinity. So, non-reactivity is so important, especially with women, because women are going to test you a lot, man. They're going to test you a lot. They're going to be like, what's this man made out of? Is he a fucking winner? And every time they test you and you're following off, and you're going like, oh no, well this and that and that, then you're reacting to her. You're not holding her frame. You're not being masculine. And this applies to everything, not just women. Being non-reactive, accepting every situation. So if you are in a situation where there's a lot of positivity, you accept it. You're like, oh, this is cool. There's a reason why I got this tattoo on my arm. It says this too will pass, because regardless of whether it's positive, negative, up, down, everything eventually passes. So you as a man shouldn't crave onto something. You shouldn't be like, oh, I want more of that, or no, I don't want this at all. Freud says that humans move towards pleasure and move away from pain. But I think that under intense practice, under intense immersion, you can be that person who views pain and pleasure as the exact same thing. This is something that I experienced going to a 10-day meditation retreat, silent meditation retreat, called Vipassana, and you can actually sign up. It's completely free for the entire 10 days. They give you food, they give you a place to stay, everything. All they want for you is to get in a place of non-suffering and non-reactivity. So it's very, I think that's one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. And I don't know if Valentino's watching this, because he recently commented on a couple of my videos, but if you're watching this, I love you, I appreciate you, because he's the one who introduced me to this. And it changed the course of my life forever. Everything that I do now comes from a place of balance, equanimity. So being non-reactive is very important. Now, all these different things are the root of the tree. They're the root of the strong tree that needs to be there in place in order for you to be attractive. Do you have to be perfect? No, you're a work in progress. But as long as you're working in progress towards being that type of man, that's good. Okay? Now, let's get to the actual tree itself and the personal beliefs that I have as a man when it comes with women. So the first one. Oops. I am enough. Now, mainstream society has made you believe that you should put the hotter woman on a pedestal, that you should view them as higher than you, that they're out of your league, and you should only go for women who are in your league. And that's everything that mainstream society has pushed on you. As a man, you need to push away the idea of this girl is out of my league or this girl is in my league. Okay? The guys who get the hot girls value themselves very highly. If you look at guys like Hugh Hefner, Dan Bilzerian, what does Dan Bilzerian do? He doesn't even play poker. Come on.
Didn't he inherit a bunch of money?
He just parties all day. He's got, and I know a lot of people who have the money that he has but aren't getting laid like he is. The reason why is because he values himself very, very high. He's like, I'm fucking Dan Bilzerian. Like, I'm the shit. I'm the trendsetter. And obviously now he's got things working for him. He's got a lot of social proof off social media. He's set up his life in a way where it works. But in order to start that up, he did it in a way where he valued himself at a very, very fucking high level. Where he's like, I'm the shit. Like, in order for a girl, like, imagine a girl rejecting Dan Bilzerian. What is he gonna think? All right, I'm just gonna go this way. That's it. He's not gonna be like, oh, she can't believe she rejected me, can't believe she did this, da da da. He's just like, I'm fucking Dan Bilzerian. In the same way, I think of myself like that. I'm like, I'm Mo Bassi. Fuck you mean? Like, when a girl rejects me, I just, have you seen, I mean, everyone should have watched it by now, but in the movie The Lord of the Rings, the guy who's like, my precious, and he goes like that, I just feel a girl like that. It's like, ah, no, my precious. I'm like, all right, that's cool, because I view myself very highly. And you could say it's a narcissistic feature. No, it's not. I just know that I'm perfectly good enough because I'm a highly valuable man. I'm on my purpose. I have all those roots of an attractive man. I'm in the top 1% of men. Or at least I'm working to go there. So for a woman to want to be with me, that's cool. She gets a plus. She gets a man who's highly valuable. So the guys who get the hottest girls value themselves very highly. So, the root of all your problems with women really comes down to you thinking, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. Now, what do most guys do? They, drink to give them temporary confidence so that they can speak to women, and they block out all those thoughts to get to a place of unconsciousness. So, what I want you to write down here is, what are 3 reasons why every girl in the world should be with you? So let's share like 1 or 2. Who wants to share? Go.
I wrote dedicated, storyteller, and different.
Dedicated. You're dedicated as a man. You have good storytelling. And you're what?
I'm different. I'm not like anyone
Different.
else.
Eccentric.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a better word, actually.
Cool. One more person? Go.
I can make her laugh a lot and bring lots of cool experiences into her life.
Cool. Just that one?
Oh, you want me to read another one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just anything that you wrote down.
I'll never judge her, and I can teach her all kinds of cool things, like art.
So, you see how these reasons are very basic? It's not like anything, like I got money or da-da-da. It's very basic, right? It's very basic positive experiences. So if you can just like provide that to a woman, that's all that she really needs. That's what the meaning of I am enough is that you can provide these Little experiences that brings positivity in her life. That's it. So we'll cover more of this, but this is the first step to getting into a place where you're not overcompensating with women, where you're not like trying to act cool, where you're not trying to prove to her that you're this and that and that. Okay? Second thing. Actually, let's keep it consistent with the blue. I don't need a reason why. I don't need a reason why I'm talking to her. So what this really comes down to is like the indirect versus direct approach. Guys who go up directly are telling her, hey, I'm here to talk because of this reason. Now, I'm going to relate this to two different sets of men. The first guy rolls up, I don't know if I can draw it nicely here, I don't know. He rolls up in a Bugatti or Lamborghini. It's funny, I got a paint palette on my arm and I'm trying this shit. So, both men roll
I
up.
thought that when you draw the circle.
Yeah, it was more like an oval. So both men roll up in really nice cars, whatever those cars may be. It looks more like a spaceship, but both men roll up in really nice cars. The first guy gets out of the car, he's dressed nice, he walks into the bar, gets a drink or eats some food, gets in the car and leaves. The second guy gets out of the car and he says, hey, everyone look at me. I just want you guys to know that this car means that I'm a millionaire and I make a lot of money. So I just wanted you guys to know that. That's the reason why I have this car. Okay? Gets his food and eats and leaves. Which guy's more valuable?
First one.
First one. When you see him in his Lamborghini or whatever car that is, what do you assume? You already assume he's a millionaire. You already assume he has a lot of money. The same thing with a girl. When you're going up to her and you're talking to her, she already assumes you're attracted to her, that you're interested in her. You don't have to give her a reason why, just like the guy who says, hey guys, I'm a millionaire, that's why I have this Lamborghini. There's no need for a reason why. She already assumes that you're interested in her. Now, that's why the 5 modalities are very important. Eye contact, vocal talent, all those different things, because that also shows that you're interested in her. Because if you just go up super indirect and you're like, hey, do you like muffins, da-da-da, it's like, what the fuck does this guy want? But if you can, boom, look at her as you're talking to her, and you're just starting a basic conversation, she knows you're already interested. But you're not putting any pressure on her because it's indirect. Cool? Oops, I keep going for the red.
Color of passion.
Color of passion and color of urgency. It only takes time. So, you and a really, really hot girl, let's say she's, who's like really hot that you think is famous and you really like? Someone just blurt out a name.
Natalie Dormer.
Who?
Natalie Dormer.
Does everyone know Natalie Dormer? Someone very basic, like I
Emma
don't,
Watson.
Emma Watson. Everyone knows Emma Watson? Okay, we can kind of all,
Harry Potter chick, okay, whatever.
let's say Emma Watson. You and her are in the same plane. The plane ends up crashing. God forbid this actually happens. This is just for the example. The plane ends up crashing, and you pop your head out of the water, and you look around you. Everyone's just done. Like, it's just you in the middle of the sea, and then you look in front of you, and boom, Emma Watson pops up. And you guys see an island. You swim to the island, and now you're on a deserted island for God knows how long. Do you think that if you spend a week, a day, a month, a year on that island, you and her are gonna fuck?
Yeah.
Chances are high. Very high. And the reason why is because of a very simple formula. T plus C equals A. Time plus comfort equals arousal. Time plus comfort equals arousal. So if you spend enough time with the girl and she's becoming more comfortable with you, it allows space and room for her to be aroused by you, for her to actually want to have you sexually. Now most guys, this is something that I learned from Ty, which really relates to this. Who here hates Ty Lopez, by the way? Hates his fucking ads and all this shit. I'm not gonna judge. No? Everyone's cool? Cool. So there's two types of people. The first type of person is patiently impatient. He's PI. So most guys are very patient to approach. They're like, well, no, let her figure this thing out and that thing out, and you know, I'm just waiting for the right time. I'm just waiting for the right time, waiting for the right moment. So her friends aren't around her, she's not on the phone, and there's flowers around her, and there's an aisle waiting for me to go up and approach her. They're very patient to start. But once they start talking to the girl, they're very impatient. They're like, oh shit, what do I do now in order to pull her now in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? You have to be the completely opposite way around. Most guys are patiently impatient. They wait to start the conversation. Once they do, they're very impatient with the process. It's gonna take time. When I start a conversation with a girl all the way to pulling and banging her, sometimes it's taken 6 to 8 hours. So that's why I always say, like, you make sure you like the girl, because if you don't like the girl, then spending 6 to 8 hours with her is fucking horrible. And I've done that too, where the girl's like super annoying and she's just on a completely different frequency. You have to be IP, which is impatiently patient. Be very impatient to start. Go approach as soon as you see the girl you like. Boom, I don't give a fuck, especially when you're starting. Now, at this point that I don't really have that much like resistance to going up to girls, I can be more strategic and be like, okay, let me just wait a little bit until this happens and this happens, because I know the patterns. But especially when you're starting and you want to gain new experiences, be very impatient to start. Go at it right away. I remember when I used to go out with my wings, like if we saw a hot girl, it wouldn't be like, oh, are you gonna go or should I go? It was like, we would look at each other and the first one to get to her would be the one who would talk to her. We would run. Because we were very impatient, and we knew that the more experience that we have, not only are we gonna bang a lot more chicks, have a lot of fun, adventures, all that different stuff, but also we're gonna get better and better and better, more sharp, socially, emotionally, everything. Cool? So, that's the second thing, it only takes time. And yeah, and another thing is, like, once you're actually talking to her, don't try to push things fast. Don't be pushy and needy. Just enjoy yourself. Just be around with her, enjoy her presence, enjoy yourself, think about how fucking awesome you are, what you're gonna be doing in your life, how awesome she's gonna be having a fun time because she's gonna be around you, all this different stuff. Just enjoy it. I don't need to seduce her or convince her if I have good intentions. If I have good intentions behind approaching the girl, talking to her, going on an adventure with her, banging her brains out, making her feel amazing orgasms and all this different cool stuff, then there's no need for me to seduce her or use techniques. Because all the stuff that I'm going to be doing with her is going to be for my own benefit and her benefit. So I only have good intentions. Whenever a girl like says like, I've had girls who've told me like you're a scumbag, all this different shit, because they were like reactive or they were in a different emotional state, and we're gonna talk about that. I never react negatively to it or say anything because I'm like, all right, well, I have good intentions behind why I'm meeting you, so I don't need to like prove myself or say, no, I'm not a scumbag or all these different things. If you don't like me, you don't like me. I'm the train that's gonna be going. You can hop on or off anytime you like, right? So as long as you have good intentions, there's no need to convince her or seduce her. Very important thing as well is when I'm coming at her with good intentions, and I believe I'm enough, I'm coming at her on an equal playing field. So let's say the Dalai Lama came up to you and he's like, do you want to meditate? Are you going to meditate with him?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't need to convince you or be like, hey, do you want to meditate because of this and these good reasons and these good reasons and all these. He's the fucking Dalai Lama. He knows he's like, yeah, I'm going to meditate regardless of whether you're here or not. Would you like to do it? He believes he's good enough for you to meditate with him. Same thing when you're going up to a girl. You don't need to persuade her or convince her and all this different stuff. However, when you understand what girls are attracted to, their psychology and all this different stuff, you have to play within those realms because you're respecting human nature. You're respecting, this is what I have to do, this is why she's doing this is who she's attracted to, therefore I have to do all that. You're playing within those realms because you understand her psychology and you want to have her experience good emotions. You want her to experience an amazing guy who can take her on an adventure, have amazing sex with her. You want her to experience those things. So you play within those realms of what she finds attractive, but you're never convincing her to come with you. Because again, like Dalai Lama, he doesn't have to convince you. You're going to meditate with him regardless. Cool? It's never personal. It's never personal. And what this really means is the girl is never rejecting you. I don't believe rejection is a real thing. Because for the girl to reject you, what does she have to know?
No.
Who you are.
Every single thing about you. Then she can be like, I reject you as a person. So you go up to a girl, you've known her for 2 minutes and she walks away or says fuck off or all this other shit. She doesn't know who you are deep down. She's not rejecting you, she's rejecting the situation. The situation that revolves around her. Maybe she lost her phone and she's pissed off. Maybe her fucking dad died. Maybe she's drunk and all her friends are trying to make plans, so now she's getting frustrated. And when you go up to her and she's in that emotional state, she's not going to change that. She's going to actually try to push that off onto you. Now, you being a masculine man and you're unreactive in your nature, you never take that personally. You don't go, oh, fuck, like that hurt. She said this, she said that. I can't believe she's such a bitch. And I see this so often with like, I'll go out with like my normal friends who don't game or anything like that once in a while. And if they ever strike up the courage to talk to a girl, usually it never goes anywhere. And the girl's like, all right, nice talking to you. And they'll come back to me like, oh, what a fucking bitch. Cunt. Can't believe she said, who the fuck does she think she is? I'm this. And I'm like, bro, like, she didn't reject you. She doesn't know who the fuck you are. Like, it's never ever personal. She's just rejecting the situation and emotionally expressing herself to how she feels in that moment. Right? So, you have to make sure you never take things personal. the thoughts that are going in your mind, always rewire them and say, whenever your thought says, what a bitch, I can't believe she rejected me, be like, no, she didn't reject me. She doesn't know who I am. She's just feeling this. All right, cool. Next girl. You have to make a conscious decision to constantly put that into your brain. Reframe things, because then that's going to become a habit of your brain. Your brain's going to start seeing it like that. That's how you build a belief. By having that experience, and instead of attaching a certain meaning to it, you choose the meaning that you want to attach to it. Cool? Cool. Make sure. Oh, this is a funny story. I think I should share this. So I remember when I was like starting. This was after about like 3 years, and I was in a club called Gravity. Do you guys remember the club Gravity? It closed down now because they're opening up like a condo and stuff. But there was a club called Gravity, very ratchet bar or club. It was like 2 floors and stuff. And I remember there was this really hot smoking Russian girl. And the first time I approached her, I literally went up to her, I was like, hey. And she's like, no, fuck off. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what just happened? I didn't do anything. But again, I never took it personal. I was having too much fun. Not to mention, I was a little bit drunk. So I was already feeling good. Just a little bit. So then I just like went around, danced, enjoyed myself. I approached her a second time. Same exact reaction, no, fuck off. Now, I've experienced a lot of Russian girls, and they're very like, they're sturdy. Like you can't. The only way I would say is you can't fuck with them, okay? Because they're really strong. Maybe you guys are Russian, you know what I'm talking about.
It's the mentality, man.
It's the mentality, yeah. So, went back to my friend's booth. We're like partying, having fun, da da da. And I came up to her a third time. And the third time she's like, oh my God, like, just leave me alone. And at this point I'm like, yo, this is hilarious. So again, go out party, have a few more drinks. We're just enjoying our time. Went up to her a fourth time, she didn't even answer me. She completely ignored me. She like looked at me, she's like, all right, I'm gonna ignore this guy. By the time the club was closing, it was like 1:45 a.m. There was like people that weren't on the dance floor anymore. And I went up to her a fifth time. And this time, completely different reaction. She's like, hey. At this point, my brain was going like, what the fuck is going on? What's happening right now? I don't understand this. Within 15 minutes, I pulled her to my car. Now, if I had approached her the first time and took it personal, and I was like, wow, I fucking suck as a man, da-da-da, all this different stuff, do you think I would have approached by the fifth time and actually gotten a certain result? Of course not. It's because I didn't take it personal, and I realized that she's in that moment, she's in that emotional state, she's just expressing that in the moment. Don't worry, that's cool. You get rid of that, I'll come back. Be sure I'll come back.
Out of curiosity, did you ever find out what was like pissing her off that entire night or something?
Her friend lost her phone, and also there was like 3 friends around her, so in a girl's mind, she's like, I don't want to feel like a slut. I want to seem like, you know, the hard chick to get, right? But then once her friends weren't there, she was just like, oh, a cool guy.
Yeah.
So it was never anything personal against me. She wasn't thinking I'm ugly or that I'm horrible. I'm like all these. She wasn't thinking any of that.
Anything to do with you?
It had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Zero. The average guy again would have been like, what a bitch. Who does she think she is? I'm amazing. Like try to boost her levels up versus viewing it in a non-reactive way. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I'll come back.
I don't mean to like slow things down, but just out of curiosity again, did you like, was there anything like you did that made sure it wasn't like socially like uncalibrated or anything like that when you reapproached?
No, I approached. I approached pretty much the same way every time.
Okay. Because when you do it like 5 times, someone's gonna be like, kind of like a pickup guy, or it seems like a pickup guy when you say something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit drunk as well.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe I came off uncalibrated, but regardless, I went up to her the exact same way every time, because at that point it was funny to me.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna keep doing this. like, this is hilarious.
It's like a pattern here.
Yeah, and that's why I was so mind fucked when she was like super positive. I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
Funny anymore.
Yeah, this isn't funny anymore. And that's the main reason why. It's never, ever personal. You can't take it personal. Especially when you're first going out and trying to get new experiences, trying to bang new girls, all this different stuff. Your journey is going to be very slow in the beginning. Super slow. It took me 4 months to do my first approach when I first started because I had that much of a crippling anxiety, depression, everything. I was just at the worst possible place I can be in. I was going out every day and it took me 4 months to actually go up to someone. So when you're first starting out, you're gonna have those moments where you're gonna feel like giving up and you're like, I can't believe girls are doing this. You're gonna see some fucked up shit. Like literally Wednesday night, I was like talking to this girl and it's going amazing and I was like having a fun time. And she was coming, like me and Vadim were gonna pull this group and some like really tall white dude who's super masculine. I can understand why he took her home because he was like, like he came up with presence. And I hadn't been out in a while, so I kind of became reactive. But right in front of me, the girl like went from like her attention on me and coming home with me, and we'd been talking for an hour and a half, to just like, she was like talking to him, and then he's like, yeah, my place is like 5 minutes away, you wanna go? And they dipped. And I was just like, cannot compute. Because again, there's gonna be all these experiences that your mind wants to react to because you have certain beliefs already in place. You have to throw every belief out the window because you're gonna experience a lot of like different things, especially like rejection, girls telling you fuck off, all this different shit that you can't react to because it's never personal. I've had every reaction possible. I've had girls call me ugly, not tall enough, too tall, too skinny, too fat. I've had girls who've told me I look cute, I look great. Like I never ever see every thing that they're telling me as real feedback. Because when they're saying like, you look good, I'm like, maybe I do, I don't know. But I don't give a fuck. You look bad, maybe I do, I don't give a fuck. I'm non-reactive in this exact same way.
So how do you react when you get physically attacked by like another guy?
You're doing something wrong if that happens. You're doing something wrong. The only time I've been physically attacked by another guy was I was talking to this girl who he clearly wanted, and he thought I said something about him, and he grabbed me like this and he's like, yo, you're either gonna take a punch or you're gonna walk right now. And I was like, all right, I'll walk. Simple. I don't get into physical alternations. It's like a homeless person coming up to you and trying to fight. What would you do? You'd be like, all right. You just walk away. That's the same way I view them. It's super lower consciousness. So if you're getting physically attacked by guys, you're doing something wrong. You're going up with a lot of pressure, or you're just very physically uncalibrated. You're not seeing the situation.
Okay.
Cool? All right, so that was the entire manifesto. How'd you guys like that? It was good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I might, or whether I'm gonna make this a free video, so you might be able to catch it online. If this happens to be on the email list, then I hope you enjoyed that. If you're not on the email list, make sure to join. You're gonna get a lot of stuff like this. And we're gonna take a quick break. And I hope you guys are ready to get into the actual natural system. Who's fucking ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Nah, I wanna hear it. I wanna hear it. Pump it up, pump it up.
Yeah.
Who's fucking ready? Good, good. All right, let's take a break.